Now let's cut across to a press briefing by India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Let's listen in.
Over and above what you heard me say, I just want to give the overall perspective, so I'll take a bit longer than I desire. See, this is an interim budget presented just before the election, obviously. The four large things that I want to draw your attention to is GDP. You get the numbers, you see it and so on, but I want to bring in this dimension, that governance, development and performance. On all these three heads, I'd like to say what actually we have achieved, because that forms the backdrop. So, on governance, this budget speaks from a position where we have delivered on development, we better manage the economy with correct intentions, correct policies, and correct decisions. So it's a governance with care, conviction, and confidence. If that stood for the GDP's G, the D stands for people living better, earning better, and having high aspirations for the future. And if I move to the P, the performance, 3 consecutive years of 7% growth. Fastest growing economy in G20, all parts of the country participating in the growth. Price stability and inflation management. Handling the health and economic fallout of COVID. Build out of physical, digital and social infrastructure. DPI as a factor of production almost for formalization and financial inclusion and growth of the economy. Cleaning up the banking system, GST, one nation, one market and one tax, the IBC. So if you were to look at performance, I've listed some of them. So your GDP, as we look at governance, development and performance, I have something to say on each of these. So this budget, or vote on account, is getting presented with the GDP that we want to speak to you about. And in that, the fiscal management actually is something which I would like you to spend some time, even as you go through the budget. But I'll flag it here. Bringing down the fiscal deficit in spite of very challenging times, as per the announced consolidation path, and with transparency and prudence. So in fact, I was just remarking to my officers this morning, most of you all had already calculated the figures, RE revenue, RE expenditure, this is what it is, because every month you get the reports coming out. So you don't need to wait till the budget statement. Every month you get the accounts, and so budget process has become absolutely transparent and questionable. If there are any, you're there to question, we are here to answer. But we set in the process of keeping everything brought on budget and nothing kept aside from it or underneath it. So with that, the budget deficit, fiscal deficit, 5.8%, which is much lower than the 5.9, which was at the BE. Similarly, for the 24-25 budget, we've given 5.1 as the fiscal deficit, so clearly indicating that we are on track to meet the glide path which was set in 2021-22, and that we are well on track to meet the 4.5% fiscal deficit, on or below 4.5 even by FY26. If this is the background with which I'm talking and the presentation of the budget happened, I want to very clearly put some things under the heading if you want to call it that, Disha Nirdeshak Baatein. You must have heard the Honorable Prime Minister speak before the Parliament session, well before the sessions commenced. His usual customary remarks. He said the budget will be presented tomorrow and you will have some Disha Nirdeshak Baatein in it. So, what are those Disha Nirdeshak Baatein?
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.